BEONTV UK, for the community, by the community. www.beontvuk.com.
It's not just about bookkeeping, it's not just about account preparation, it's providing the additional quality on top of the fundamental services that we provide.
First consultation is always free, we don't charge. We want that client to be with us for life, so we will look after them where we can. We want them to succeed. If they succeed, we succeed. That's the way we see it.
SKN Chartered Accountants, your partners for a brighter business future.
British Bangladeshi Young Talent Awards 2022. Organised by the Z Foundation and British Bangladeshi Trust at UK. Sunday the 9th of October 2022 at 6 p.m. The Royal Suite, 271 Birchfield Road, Birmingham, B23DD. Live entertainment from various artists. Book your tickets now. For more information, contact 07859 712 599.
চোখ রাখুন, সঙ্গে থাকুন বিয়ন টিভির সংবাদে।
বার্মিংহামের আশেপাশে কত মার্কেট আছে, ওরিয়েন্টাল সুপার মার্কেট সেরা সবার মাঝে। মাছ মাংস শাক সবজি সব তাজা ভাই, এর লাইগা তো বউয়ের রান্ধনে তো মজায় খায়। ওরিয়েন্টালে বাজার করে এত শান্তি পাই, হাকালুকি হাওড়ের মতো কারপার কাছে ভাই।
Oriental Halal Store, Coventry Road, Small Heath, Birmingham.
Good evening. My name is Anam Choudhury and I would like to welcome everyone from around the globe to this special talk show where we will be sending our tribute to Her Majesty the late Queen Elizabeth II and send our salutations to the new King, Charles III, and also discuss the future of the British monarchy. We have lost a significant figure in the global stage. The Queen, our Queen, has been the Queen not only of this nation, but she has been the Queen, a global Queen. In 1957, when our late Queen addressed the nation, she said that I cannot lead you into battle, I cannot give you laws or administer justice, but I can do one thing, something else, and that is I can give you my heart. And that has been the legacy of our late Queen, and it will live on forever. Today I'm joined here by our three special guests who is going to be making their contribution, contribution into this discussion, and also be talking about how the communities will benefit from the new reign of our King. We have with us from the right side here, Syeda Khatun. She is the Chief Executive of the Bangladeshi Women's Association, which is a community development charity. Syeda's community's career began in 1984, and in 2004 she was made a member of the British Empire for her services to the community. Syeda also serves as a councillor for Tipton Green Ward, first elected in 1999 as the first Bengali woman to be elected in the West Midlands. Welcome to the show, Syeda.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also have with us Councillor Maya Ali. She's a councillor from the Coventry City Council, and she is also a proprietor and principal solicitor in Maya & Co. Solicitors. Councillor Ali is also a trustee for various community development organisations and heavily involved with the local community initiatives. We also have with us Dr. Sakhawat Hussain, who is the Deputy Lieutenant with the West Midlands Lieutenancy, and he assists the Lord Lieutenant in carrying out his role as the King's personal representation in the West Midlands. Dr. Hussain is also a lecturer and a professor specialising in mechanical manufacturing engineering, and he is also an inventor, innovator and entrepreneur promoting research into nanotechnology. So Dr. Hussain also worked in Saudi Arabia and Malaysia. So welcome to our guest, and thank you very much for taking your time and joining us with this show. So obviously we know it's a sad fact that we have lost our Queen, and as I said earlier, she's not been just a Queen of England, but she's been a Queen globally. Wherever there's been talk about the Queen, be it in Bangladesh or any part of the world, when you refer to the Queen, you've always known the Queen to be Queen Elizabeth II. So we've been really privileged to be served by her. And also her 70 years reign has really given our nation and the world unity that it really wanted over the years. So I just want to talk about the late Queen's life, reign, and as well as the legacies to start with. So obviously, how did you feel when you heard the news of her late Majesty's passing? Syeda, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I was at work when I heard the news. The BBC broadcast was suspended, and they said the Queen was ill. This was in the afternoon, just after 12, and I said something's going to happen, because when I put it on, everybody's already wearing black. These were broadcast, and everything was suspended. There was nothing else but just the Queen's news on the TV. So obviously we finished work, went home. And again, I had a council meeting, and that was cancelled due to the fact that she was ill. So I was shocked. It was very quick. 6 o'clock in the evening, it was announced she had passed away. So very quick. You know, when somebody's poorly, you take a bit of time, and people have time to. It was just gone, and shock and sad. But you know, in a way, we was expecting. You know, in our own faith, we know we go, but you know, the family was there, and I think. It was just a quick shock that it was that quick.
It was a shock to the world, wasn't it?
Yeah, and she'd done her duty the night before on Tuesday, welcoming the new Prime Minister as well. So it was a bit of a shock to everybody that how can she just pass away? But that was it.
And when she took up when she became the Queen, she did say all her life she will be committing to the service of the people. Yeah. And I think she fulfilled that role very well, and she's been an exemplar for many other monarchs around the world. Councillor Ali, you went to give your respect to the Queen.
Yes, I did.
It must have been a lengthy wait. Tell us about your journey to giving the respect.
Well, as soon as I heard she passed away, I mean, it's just, I felt it in my heart, and I just had to go and pay my respects. There was no way that I could not go. I just couldn't find a partner to go with me. Then I found somebody who's a very good friend of mine, Asma Chowdhury. She accepted. Well, she wanted to go as well. She loves the Queen too. And then it was the wait that really made us discouraged us in certain ways. But I have to say this now, but you did say to me, and Anam said to me, even if you can't wait that long, then just go and pay respects to the surrounding and see the environment. But when we went there, our heart took us to the wait. We just went to the queue, and we enjoyed the queue, waiting the queue there. It took us quite a while to get through, but it was devised. The route was in such a way that people enjoyed the route, because in it was in the Thames, and it wasn't a moment of boring, bore, because it was all the way around the London Bridge and the Westminster. You've right at the end in the Westminster, you were there. So it was an
everybody
exciting.
motivated everybody else in terms of, you know, people didn't look at the.
We were sightseeing, you know, the London. We saw the London Eye there. It was nice. It was excited for us to go and see her, pay our respects. But once we entered the building, it was like sheer solemn, sheer sadness. You can feel that the atmosphere in the building, in the in-state. But I was proud that I went, and thank you. And so was Asma, and I felt that, okay, I made the decision to come, and I'm going on behalf of my Bangladeshi community. And I actually said that to myself. I said, let me go and pay my respects on behalf of Bangladeshi community. Put my hands on my heart, and I paid my respects, and then I left. But
as I said earlier, she's been a global queen, so
she is, yes,
around the world came to give their respect.
She was beautiful inside and outside. I can't really say, you know,
I'm going to
enough about her.
Of course. Dr. Hussain, you work in an office where you represent the Queen, the monarch. How was the news? How did you take the news?
Let me start with myself. I've known the Queen from 1961, 62. Cool. As a little boy, she went to Dhaka in Bangladesh.
Brilliant.
So when she went past our road, so we were standing waving at her.
Wow.
So that was my beginning of my life, was by seeing the Queen. So she was like a part of our life. We didn't know any other Queen, just one Queen. So I couldn't realize that she would be gone just like that, but we knew it was going to happen. On the day, although I'm here today unofficially,
of course,
from the Lieutenancy, we had a letter, an email from the office that she's passing, and keep this information to yourself, do not spread it. Expect anything, very soon we'll let you know. But then I started the TV and I saw that on the
news spread.
Commons and the news was spread. I just could not believe that she'll be gone in such a short period of time.
Of course.
But the good thing is everyone has to go from this world. One thing I'm happy about is that she didn't have to suffer anything like live in a hospital and cared. And it was quite a good thing. I understood that she had bottles of blood bank. These things were carried with her. She was prepared all the time that something was going to happen. And she had an excellent team of doctors and people looking after her. So it was shock, expected, but one has to go.
Of course.
And we all have to go one day. But we pray that things get better here.
Yes, of course. I mean, if you just think about the responsibility she had, she was the head of the Commonwealth, which is an association of 56 independent countries and 2.5 billion people. That's a lot of people she was representing. And for 14 of these countries, as well as the UK, she was the head of state. So imagine the responsibilities she had to go through on a daily basis, which has been immense. And we, respect her for that. And it's something that we can learn from this generation and every generations to come. Dedication to service is something she's really been exemplary. So which would you consider to be her greatest legacies? Obviously, we've got the Commonwealth, which has been head of. We also have, if you look at the contribution the monarchy has brought into the British economy, has also been significant. So, I mean, in terms of Syeda, what do you think would be her greatest legacy?
I think it is the Commonwealth. She'll be known as the Commonwealth Queen, because there are other kings and queens. You don't know their names from the first name. Queen Elizabeth was known everywhere. Everybody knew she was known everywhere. And even when you go to high commissions or anywhere official, and her photo, her portrait's there, people have to take an oath when they take citizenship. Things like that is so much that people all over the world who are taking British citizenship or even getting entry clearance go in, and they've got her portrait. And she's, I don't know any other queen that I know a name of. In other countries, there are queens and kings and things. So that would be her legacy, is the Commonwealth, and the fact that the longest reigning as well,
Monarchy,
you know, monarchy. That's definitely, there isn't that people that, you know, reign that long. And for a female, the first woman sort of longest reigning as well. It was a bit, as you said, the responsibility on her as a woman, I think, is more important than, you know, I don't think any other kings and that have that much responsibility.
I remember the Prime Minister of New Zealand, she's a woman, so she asked the Queen, what would you advise? You know, she had a baby in office, so, and the Queen said to her, you have to just get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's that commitment to the service has really been.
And she had the family as well, her children, so just a commitment, not just as a queen, but as a mother, as a grandmother, and everything. She balanced everything very well. She did. She adored her family. You know, you could tell she adored her family.
Of course, she took part in the war, as you say, Dr. Hussain. Do you want to elaborate something on in terms of the economic value of what she's contributed?
What I think of is this royal family brand, royal monarchy. The asset is about 67.5 billion.
Wow.
Next to Amazon. It has been built on her own, so to say. She really had a very good backup, Prince.
Yes, of course.
I was at University of Cambridge. I was there. He was also the Chancellor of Cambridge University. And the contribution he has made, and that contribution came because of her. And this is a family sort of thing. And Princess Anne is contributing to the engineering, and she wanted to be an engineer as well. And she is a patron of the Royal Academy of Engineering. So Queen herself was an engineer, trained as a mechanical engineer. So there was a family thing going on, how to, just not the Queen, she had been able to spread it to her family.
Of course.
The princess and the husband, daughter. So equally, the name and fame, I was watching as a deputy lieutenant, I had to visit many schools during this
the morning period.
Not before that.
Before that.
And I had to go to schools, private schools, and they thought I was part of the Queen. Are you married to the Queen?
Okay.
What does she do? And 4 years, kids, the canopy and other things. We had to go to many hundreds of schools in the West Midlands. And the impact, she was with the in the film that James Bond.
Yes.
And then this taking the bread out from the bag.
Yes.
Those things were
amazing. Of course.
She
connected with everyone.
Yeah.
Connected with everyone, from young to the
That showed that these young children are actually looking at her as a queen, somebody who has contributed to the society, and the smile she had.
Yes, of course.
You know,
brought everybody together.
Yeah, I was listening to the latest Prime Minister, May. She said she was in a dinner or something. She was near a table taking some food, and she dropped cheese from the table to the floor. And she said, in a matter of seconds, I had to decide, shall I take it up or not? Fraction of a second, so I decided to pick it up. And then as I picked it up, I saw the Queen was behind me and watching me. And as I looked at her, she smiled at me.
Wow.
And that melted the ice just like anything. And she said, I didn't feel anything. So the way she had this handling situations, when things go wrong, it don't rebuke him or her.
Of course.
I smile. She's a queen. She has taken her place by actually being nice, soft, and she knew how to. She's the queen, so if she was there, nobody would have respected her.
Yes,
she used to come down, connect, and be one of them. So I've seen so many features and other on TVs that she used to go out and speak to the people, and that smile, being able to mix with the community, although she is at high level, that gave her the legacy that will be remembered by.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hussain. Obviously, the Queen also had a very close connection with Bangladesh. Dr. Hussain mentioned about the visit. She visited more than 100 countries, you know, for one person to do that. And as we've been speaking, you know, she touched the lives of millions around the world, including Bangladesh. I was listening to an interview recently when the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, came to give her respect on behalf of Bangladesh. And she said in interviews how much she admired and respected the Queen and how much the Queen knew about Bangladesh was really surprising. And I think that's eagerness to know and to know communities of different cultures is something that our Queen has been really, you know, eager to do. So, I mean, have you had any kind of like, have you heard anything from Bangladesh in terms of how the people in Bangladesh have been grieving for her? Obviously, Bangladesh, our Prime Minister declared 3 days of mourning in Bangladesh. So, obviously, you have relatives in Bangladesh. Tell us about some of the conversation that you've had.
When I went to Bangladesh just a few months ago, and it was the Queen's Jubilee, and I took the advantage of those days off, and I went to Bangladesh for 5 days. They all knew it was the Queen's Jubilee. All my relatives knew, you know, they knew the Queen. They were so excited, actually. And they watch TV. Bangladesh, they don't have TV anymore. Everybody watches it on their iPad or on their phone. So they all knew, they were all aware of the Queen. And when she passed away, I went to London to visit her. They all, well, they saw my Facebook, most of my relatives, and they did say, oh, you went and that's good. And they were sad as well. Some of them were saying, why 3 days? We should be mourning for 10 days because we're part of the Commonwealth country. She's the head of our state. So we should be following the British, because if 10 days is okay for them, then 10 days should be with us as well, for us as well. Where did they get 3 days from? So they were willing to mourn for 10 days.
And England has always been known as the Queen's Land, isn't it?
Yes,
and,
yes,
this country belongs to the, you know, the Queen, and everybody. If you go to the villages in Bangladesh, everyone is, you know, everyone knows the Queen, and she was really loved by everyone.
She was a woman, you see, so that attracted more attention, and she was very beautiful. And like you was mentioning of the smile. It's just we've lost somebody that's very, very special. But not just not feeling this. Like you said, globally everybody's feeling it. Bangladeshi is feeling more. But Bangladeshi are more soft-hearted people, the way what I've seen.
Of course.
And you know, we take pride in our heritage, and we take pride in our Queen. I know my mum and my dad. You know, when he sits there talking about the Queen, oh, he says it in a sad tone. You know, I don't know. I'm sure you've heard. He's feeling the loss. Every Jubilee, you know, when Prince Charles got married, when there was some sort of important event, my dad would be first to get the mug, one of the mugs, and he'd bring that home.
Everyone connected to.
Yes. So you know, the Bengali community. I mean, I'm sure the other communities as well. But we are very, very. We loved the monarch. That's the impression I get from everybody, is that, you know, we were part of the monarch, we're part of British, you know, part of the Commonwealth, and we were proud of it. We're proud of that red passport we've got, the passport when it says Her Majesty. We just, I took pride in when we used to say that we're British.
Syeda, you've obviously received an MBE from, I think, was it Prince Charles?
Yes, it was
at that
Prince
time.
Charles,
yes. So tell us about that experience and how was your experience of visiting the Buckingham Palace? And
I mean, obviously, I met the Queen when she came to City Challenge in Tipton. She stopped at the Tipton train station, and she came Owen Street. She came to Tipton Coasley Building Society, and I was invited there as part of the community in Tipton to receive the Queen just for a bit. So I remember those. It's really, because you plan so much, you know, when you go in the Queen. Everything in Tipton, we had planters, we had The streets were clean, the beautiful, there was hanging baskets in the street. People with their flags were waving. You see it on telly, but when you do it for real, you feel it. Everybody felt so special. So I met her, and then she went to Dudley Zoo actually at that time. So I connected with her then. I never thought I'd receive an MBE, and I was surprised and really pleased in 2004 when I did receive an MBE for services to the community. I was supposed to get the MBE from the Queen, but obviously she wasn't available on the day it was booked, and it was Prince Charles. And again, he was lovely. He spoke. He spoke. They talk to you. They don't just give you an MBE and you walk away. They have a chat to you about what you do and things like that. And I've got little pictures of him having that discussion with me. So even then, and obviously, in terms of we're talking about the Queen, she's so humble. She's so, I think, pure. I gotta say, she just looks pure, feels pure. There isn't black marks and spots against her. It's just something that you could look at a person and say, so pure of heart, humble, noble, and just a queen of a kind. You can't, when you match people, there's none like her. You can't say.
So how do we now visualize the future of the British royal family without the Queen? So I'm sure there's going to be an impact, but what's going to happen? I mean, this is going to be a big challenge for our new king. It's going to be a big test, whether he can he can copy his mother's image of stability and preserve the institution. So what's your views on that?
Well, when she was 21, she gave a broadcast speech saying, "I serve my life to her subjects. I will give my," and she served it. She was only 21 then, because she reigned at 25, and that was her 21st birthday, and she gave her life to the monarch. The two subjects, to her subjects, to all of us. And then 1953, on a Christmas day, on one of the Christmas broadcasts, and I wrote this down, she wrote, "An entirely new concept built on the highest qualities of the spirit of man," she said, and that is friendship, loyalty, and desire for freedom and peace. And she said that in 1953, and she actually maintained that to date. She brought everybody together. Now, Prince Charles was 5 or 6 at that time when she reigned. He grew up knowing he's going to be the king, and he has had enough training. He's now 73-year-old, I think, and he's had enough training. So I actually think he will be a good king. He will follow his mother's footsteps. He's had it hard. He's had a tough life as well, but I think he's now fully equipped, fully trained to take on the job that his mother's and his his generations have done. And I'm sure he'll be a wonderful king, and let's hope that
he'll be able to lead the family.
He's done wonderful as a prince. He was doing wonderful for the he's had that Prince's Trust. I was reading up on it a little bit today as well, where he's changed lives with that Prince's Trust. And while he was prince, he was making people's lives, the difference in people's lives. So I think that attitude he will carry forward. That attitude, he will make a great king. And then you have William, and I'm sure if he's got his mother's blood, he will also, and he's got his father's son, he will make a great king as well. But they are in the making, and Kate Middleton's, Princess of Wales is wonderful as well.
We saw it. He's grieving, but he's also gone straight to the duty. He became straight away. He was announced king. Don't forget, he didn't have to wait. He was the king straight away, and we sing it, "God save the king" instead of the queen. So straight away, obviously he knew he was going to be the king when his mother passes. So he's been a long time waiting. He's a mature man, whereas the queen was a young woman. Whereas he's a mature man, he's done things all his life. He's followed and he's seen, he's observed. So he will, and he has already started doing, visiting people and when he went to Ireland and places like this. He's been around the country as well. So he's ready for it.
And he's well known.
He's well known.
around
He
the world.
immediately started his duty.
Yeah, so he will. I mean, obviously, you know, none can beat the Queen Elizabeth.
No one could beat
He will have his own legacy, but, you know, there you go. But he's ready, so it's not like he needs training. He's amateur and he'll make mistakes. I think he knows what he's doing.
But one of the biggest challenges would be, Dr. Hussain, is the Queen held over 800 patronages in her lifetime. So obviously someone has to take on that role. So I think it's very important the family stays together, you know, so that they can support the institution and also continue to support the public.
I mean, the royal family also bring, don't forget, tourism into the country, £1 billion of tourism, and people actually not just come to England because it's Britain, because of the royals. Yeah. So definitely, you know, that's to follow. Sorry, I'm Dr.
I've written down that tourism, Royal Drive, UK tourism, as at 2017, it got £550 million.
Wow.
And during this 2019-20, it was £49.5 million that came in. And as we say that we Bangladeshis are very keen and connected to the Queen, so are the Canadian. I was reading about the Canadian things, and they are really very keen, and they spend millions of pounds just to come here to see Balmoral and other places, the Buckingham Palace, and they are spending a lot of money. They are very keen. Prince Charles, now the King, he had the time, he had the training, he was fully mature, and these things what we have seen that day was rehearsed many, many years ago. It was known what to do, and everything was part of a training. Now that he's in the game, he will try his best, and he's got the full support of Prince William, who is fully prepared. Now you can see the way they move, Prince William, you can see that there is a change now in his movement, the way he talks. It's not just before. There has been subtle change. That means that the whole family has to get together. And they cannot leave anything. Whatever she has done, the challenge is to remain a royal, and if he misses any of this connection, it will just fall.
Yes, of course.
So he has to be excellent mentor of Prince William and be a king on his own right.
Of course.
So he has to look after, I mean, look at the Commonwealth game we had recently. He came, and the first day was really good. The final ending day, Prince Edward was there. I don't think the sound and things are not the same. So they have this the music with them. When they go and they travel and they open something up, people respond to it. So he has got a backup. The government, Parliament, he has got a backup of that.
And also the King always talked about, and very important issue, the environment. The nature has always been close to his heart. He's the patron of many organizations, including the National Trust, which I work for. So I think it was a proud moment for me to be a part of the National Trust because of the involvement of His Royal Highness.
But he said that although he was connected with so many other things, now I shall not be able to do everything. I'll be there, but he has to find somebody to do the work for him. Yeah, that will be his challenge, to get it going, get it running.
I don't think he's given up all the patronage. He's keeping some.
He'll not get the time to do it. He'll not get the time to do it. But the people who are below him, they have to take it up. Somebody has to take it up.
And that's why it's
like a relay race, you know, giving it to you, now you run.
And that's why it's important that the family remains close, connected, and have work together really for the betterment of the country. But do you see any kind of changes in terms of how the Commonwealth is sustained in the future? Do you think there will be a positive or negative impact as a result of the passing of Her late Majesty?
I don't think there can be any changes because he hasn't got the time to do any changes. The changes will be if he fails to do certain things. He should have done it and he hasn't done it.
Okay.
And I don't think he will ever try to ignore anything. He will just let people get on with what is being done. So you do it, get on. If you need help, come and see me. The government is there. He's not the government. It's the help is there.
Of course.
So it will be very unlikely for me to think that there will be any changes in the negative sense.
Yes.
We'll rather try to get on, let it go, and let the music sound as before.
Get it continued.
Continue
Yeah.
without any failures.
I'm anticipating changes in positive.
Yeah, there will be some changes.
Yeah.
There will be some changes, but I don't think he might reduce the financial aspects of many things.
Yes,
But,
yes.
you know, on the streets, he was told about things that you're spending so much money. And reverse, if you look at the monetary system, actually, I'm trying to write a book, if I get the go-ahead from my system, about the expenses and expenditures and the income they have in the royal family. So I'll probably end up writing a book later on.
Okay.
So where it will show the income and expenses, and when he was told about that, you know, you're spending so much money, in fact, they're bringing more billions of dollars,
Of course.
pounds, as opposed to 500 million they get as a family.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things, he just got like that.
Shocked on the
Shocked
bed, yeah.
but they aren't bringing money. Only one movement, he goes, there's money coming into the
Yes, of
system.
course.
So it will be quite interesting to see.
Yeah.
I am, within our lieutenancy, we had some information that there can be some changes, what we are not aware of at the moment, but as we receive information, will change.
Okay.
But at the moment, we are not thinking of any changes.
Yeah. Whatever the changes, we hope that it's positive. In a positive
I'm
sense.
sure he'll be looking into the economics
Yeah.
of funding.
things.
And
This brings into what the King mentioned, which is that he wants a small and low carbon coronation. And so do you think the public would welcome that? Or do they want something grander?
I want something. I don't think the public's going to welcome that, because when you associate yourself, or when you think about the monarch and something that, you know, a day to celebrate, King's coronation is definitely a day to celebrate. And I can't imagine him saying, well, he probably has, you know, low key. I can't imagine how he's going to do it low key, because I don't think the public will allow him. Even if he wanted to do low key, I think he'll still have the public right in front of him on the coronation day. He'll have it there. Everybody's going to be there.
You can't stop the public.
No, he's not going to stop me, because I'm definitely going. So that's one already there in the list. You know, I'm always been in jubilees and, you know, any occasions. I'm actually there in the Buckingham Palace.
And I think occasions like this brings other families together
Yes,
as
it
well.
does,
You know,
yes.
it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
And I think sort of celebrating the royals is a culture of the British people,
Yes, of course.
as well as all the others as well.
International.
And international, because people come for, you know, the
Just
Jubilee.
sit near the TV and watch
There's
what's
people
happening.
coming from all over the world just for that. You know, so it is international. It's a culture that, you know, you can't just get rid of.
No, the British monarch is part of our life.
Although it might, you know, in terms of cost and things, I might look at the expenditure, as you said, but in terms of the popularity and big and having the, you know, bank holidays and things like that, people look forward to that. That's part of it.
With the expenditure, if I don't mind me saying something,
Of course.
it's not going to cost him any money having the public right in front of his house in Buckingham Palace. He can't stop that.
If you think of,
He will have that.
if you
I'm
think
sure.
of how much money this TV coverage brings, if you think there were 100 statesmen, president and prime ministers of different countries, they came here, and how much money did they spend on each day? £3,000 a day. So how much money did they bring to the system? Not to the king or the queen, to British economy.
Yeah, it's economy.
And the TV coverage, it was all over the world.
All over the world.
And I don't think it was less than £1 billion for that day.
And you know what?
2.5 billion people, I think they watched.
Watched.
Yeah,
So
all over.
Every
all over
single
people.
So
day,
if you add
24
one
hours a
pound to
day.
it, it's just
Includes,
2.5 billion
yeah,
already
Already in there.
to the British TV system.
You know, when Queen was in state, before even on the funeral day, all I did was switch the TV on and watch people coming, slowly paying their respects, and day in, day out, all I was doing was just sitting there watching that. And I'm sure everybody else did the same thing.
Well, I was saying to you, remember before, that if there was one of those systems where people could make a donation instead of laying flowers, a lot of people would have made a donation.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, everybody who could. The people, some of them went to lay flowers wherever it's a council
That
house,
flower is
civic
waste.
buildings. Flowers are actually now used for whatever reason,
Recycling.
compost, whatever, recycling. But they would have donated. You know, they would have donated. There would have been
50
millions
pence.
each day, millions raised each day.
I think
That would have
somebody-
happened.
Yes.
You could have seen the popularity. Probably would have been the best
That would have made
fundraised
a
ever
positive
for
contribution
charity,
of
but they
bringing-
didn't think about that. But that would have shown how popular they are, and you could do it all over the world. You know, you can donate online. You don't have to be living here. You could just do it.
I'll probably
I'll
send this message.
Yes, please do send the message, because somebody should have thought of that. A lot of people probably didn't want to go and lay flowers, but if there was a donation box, they would have done it.
Instead
and
of
it would have
buying
gone
the flowers,
good. But instead of buying and wasting those flowers again, using them.
One piece of flower, maybe one flower, just to show.
If I may, can I ask a question? Do you know when the coronation will take place, or do you have an idea?
No idea, because it's probably next year.
The Queen's took 16 months.
Yeah. Well, things like that,
But there was a reason why it took 16 months, because Winston Churchill, at that time, he was the Prime Minister. He didn't want, he still wanted to stay on power, so he hung on to it.
So I think, you know, we have our King who has a very large shoe to fill with regards to the jobs at hand. So I think we talked a lot about in terms of how popular the Queen was. What do you think our King needs to do to maintain his popularity, not just here but around the globe?
I think he should. Shall I
be himself?
I think he needs to be himself. Like he's down to earth, humble. He seems like he's a humble person, like his mother, and his mother visited 100 countries. I think it's about time he did too. Maybe make a trip to Bangladesh, you know, Commonwealth countries, and beyond, and then connect with those people. The Queen, I think in the 60s, she had televised programs in the Buckingham Palace, and that connected with the public as well. How she is, how she bringing up her family. There was Anne there was Prince there. I'm not sure, because I'm watching those films now, and I'm just loving watching it. I just keep repeat. So she did that to connect with the public. He could do the same.
Yeah. I heard she used to have a dinner with at least 13 people on the table.
Wow.
So she liked gathering
people around
together. Have people around her.
He could do the same. He could connect with people, maybe have some sort of
regular get together.
Yeah, I think all this out and about, and making sure that is always available to the public. Obviously, he's 73 compared to the age
he is quite old.
But obviously, he's got good health. It's not, we don't know of any health condition, so he should make the most of it now.
Okay.
And use that to make
Time to come to Coventry. I'll be there first.
And I think he probably will.
He will come.
Yeah, he will. And
well, they do come here because we know when they come here.
So
Yeah, within because we had told that you are in Coventry, you are in Sandwell. She is coming, or he is coming from the royal family. So they do come here on a very short notice. So which will continue, but he will not be able to come as a king. It has to be properly organized. Yes. But the most important thing would be to have the people around him, the princess and the prince, to work together towards achieving higher goals, as has been done in the past. Okay. So it has to be a teamwork. It's not just him. He has to maintain the team. His brother, his sister, Princess Anne, she's doing a good job. And then you've got the crown, because it will be up to him to prepare.
And I think, as I think Syeda was saying earlier, I think there is a need for the wider royal family to really work together and share the responsibilities amongst them. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenge and also task for the new king. I think in terms of looking at the future, obviously we talked about Prince William and his current role as the Prince of Wales, and also King in waiting. So he's been very close.
Happens, how does he react? At that time, course. Things had to resonate with him. If that doesn't happen, then we have a problem.
Of course.
It's not that what I heard, I was expecting some bad information, bad statements about the king, but everywhere, from the parliament, everywhere, they said he's fully prepared, what he said was good. There was always positive, so far so good. Right at the beginning, right with the starting point, he took up the challenge, it just went on, And I think it will be just like that.
Yeah, I think the senior members of the royal family, they are really people's person. You know, if you look at how Prince William conduct himself with the public and his reaction to the grief that was for his grandmother, it's amazing. You know, his mannerism is really appropriate to how people expect.
Yeah, he lost his mom when he was young, so he would resonate with the grandmother because that was his next sort of female in the family who was the responsible person. It was the grandmother, so she, you know, he wasn't grown up with the mom, and I think that's why he's very close.
I was watching some news today about Prince William and his wife together. And the people are saying they are really prepared. Look at the child. They were talking to a child, kneeling down, and they said, look, the way they're talking, expressing their feelings for this child, really realistic. So they are not just thinking of becoming a king, but it's a royal family, part of the people.
They have their own children, they bond, they love the children, therefore they connect.
Yeah, so that has to be shown.
What really Prince William and King Charles has to do is follow his mother's footsteps. Now, his mother brought the globe together, multicultural together. She made England. It was her, actually, I would have to say, now that she's gone.
Britain.
She made Britain what Britain is today, multicultural, multi-faith. We've got mosques, we've got temples, we've got gurdwaras, we've got, you know, you name all these religious faith. It's because she never discouraged. She always welcomed. She stitched them to. She was the head of state, so she kept them all together, knitted in one. What King Charles and William has to do is follow that. They have to do the same thing. They have to also keep this global, you know, connection. And if they keep that global connection, we will be living in Britain. We actually are one of the, you know, we are lucky. We are very lucky because we had our Queen who encouraged us to thrive, not only being British, but being our own culture with that as well. She never discouraged us. If you go to Bangladesh today, you know, you will maybe opening a church there. I don't know how the people of that country or Bangladesh country will react. Over here, you have mosques every corner.
Churches in Dhaka.
You know, and you have mosques every corner. You have temples. You know, the religious faith and connections to this traditionalism is wonderful. She created this, and all Prince William and Charles has to do is just follow that legacy. She follows, and that's one of the best, one of the legacies she has left, and that's why everybody cried when she died.
One thing I would like to point, I haven't heard anyone pointing towards that direction, was why did she go to Scotland? If they want to split, they want a new country. Now that she went there, she made it part of UK, so nicely knitted. The Queen dies there. And she was taken to the Edinburgh. So the whole thing, I don't know whether she has planned it that way, that I want to die there. If I die there, it will connect Scotland with England, UK.
It's made the two nations more closer, isn't it? Yeah.
She loves Scotland, and
I know,
think,
but
you know, when you have a wish, and we believe in faith and that, she must have had the desire. That's where she wanted to go. A lot of people say, I want to go and die in Bangladesh and I want to be buried there. And like. Similar,
I'm not sure whether she had this in mind, that it will unite the United Kingdom as a part of. So the people, at least for next few years, they will not talk about dividing Scotland.
Now, can I say something?
Yeah.
You know, before her funeral, the eve of the funeral, our Coventry City Council, we had a Thanksgiving for her in the Coventry Cathedral. We had an imam going up in one of those poles, you know, when they go and give a speech. So imam gave a speech of how he felt, what he thought about her, which was wonderful, and also these nice things we are saying now. He said the same thing as well. But right at the end, he said, God save the king. And he's an imam, Muslim imam. So after the the ceremony and the event, I went up to him and I said, "You said God save the King, and in what context did you say that?" He said to me, "Why not?" And he said to me, "Because of our Queen and the monarch in this country, we are in this country. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom to do things. So why can't I say, God save the King?" And this is an Imam saying it.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing religious there.
Yeah. So he said it with pride. So it's not just Imam and one religious face saying it. Everybody's saying
welcoming the new king.
Yeah, because he
has been knighted immediately. Immediately has become a king.
Yeah, but he said, look at the bigger picture. Look what she has achieved. Look what she has done.
We're coming very close to the end of the show, so I just want to cover two more things. One is that how can the diverse communities of the United Kingdom show our support for the new king? So any suggestion in that, Syeda?
I think we should be positive about the king and the monarchy. As we said, we are proud of it, and I think we should show it as well. Not just sit here and say we're proud, but really show it when it comes to royalty, and they waved the flag, when it was the Jubilee. I had flags all over my my gates and everything. So anybody passing was like, "Oh God, you're really royal," and that. But yeah, show it from our side, because it's a diverse community, and we should welcome the king. Give him the positive message, so he's more confident. He's confident, but I think he needs to feel it. He needs to know that we love him as well. Yeah, and I think the more you show and the more people feel, they want to do more. I think when they feel good about themselves, when somebody says, "Oh, this is a good person," even a bad person wants to become good, and they're saying good things. I think, basically we should be promoting it, using media, using the social media as well. Promote the good stuff that they're doing and shout about it.
And invite them to events.
Invite them to events, activities and events, and make sure that they get the invitations. I think we don't send invitations, but we think they're not going to come to this. Why not? Keep sending it. You might get them. Yes. You send 10 invitations, you might get one.
Through the Lieutenancy, you can actually invite. So you can send invitations.
Yeah, and I think we should do that. We should think about that. We don't think about them. We always
if there are any occasions,
local, the mayor and this and that. We don't think about the roles, and I think we should think.
For example, our Lieutenancy, we have more than 50 deputy lieutenants, and the request has to go to the Lord Lieutenant to visit something, and obviously can't go to all 7 places. So he'll pick somebody, and I or you or someone, another dear will go there. So the king can be invited to anything you organize. He might even have time, you never know.
You don't know.
But if he's not there, somebody else will come, and he will have the message, what happens there.
Yeah.
So if you want to organize something, do feel free to get in touch.
Yeah, and that comes to my last point in terms of the role of the West Midland Lieutenancy, and how can the community benefit from the services that you provide. Obviously, the Lieutenancy provides a representation of the monarch. So tell us a bit more about...
Well, I'll cut down a little bit. If I focus on the things we do for the community, for example, Queen's Award for Voluntary Services. If there are lots of hundreds of businesses around here doing voluntary services for many years for the community, we choose after somebody will have to nominate one of the organizations. So that will come to me, for example, to do the write-up. So I'll do the citation, I'll do the interviewing, I'll go and talk to the people, what they have actually done, and are they going to survive next 5 years? Look at their accounts, finances. Is this something free? Forward somebody for Queen's Award or King's Award now. Will it survive next 5 years? We have to interview all the people with certain areas, and they get Queen's Award for voluntary service.
So if anybody from within the community sees someone is deserving of an award, they can get in touch with yourself or your office.
They can get in. I mean, certain people think that you have to get in touch with people in London or our Lieutenancy, but I can handle it. Send it to me. I can.
Brilliant. But they can also find your contact through the website.
Yeah.
So what's the website for your
West Midland Lieutenancy.org.
Okay. So if
and
anyone,
Dr. Hussain, if you write to me, they'll send it to me.
Okay.
And then there is Queen's Award Honours like the BEM, MBE.
So there's award honors for individuals as well as organizations.
This is organization.
Okay.
Queen's Water Voluntary Services. There is enterprise. And enterprise is like something you have done.
Okay.
Like
Will this Queen's Award become the King's Award?
Definitely,
now?
but that's something we're not aware of what's happening.
No, I'm just asking.
But the general message is for anyone within the community who
no, if you want to nominate somebody for an MBE, CBE, or OBE, or Sir, or knighthood, all you have to do, somebody wants to nominate you, somebody knows your work, there has to be 3 people, one person will be the nominator, and then there will be 2 supporters. 3 letters have to be going together. It doesn't have to be the MP, like you have nominated somebody, and that comes to me. We read the letters, write the nominations, read through it, and then we have to write a citation. Okay. Is this something that will be passing through the requirements of the cabinet
That's
minister?
something that you can.
That's something we do.
You
and I
analyze.
have written. One person has already got MBE, and then 2 Queen's Water Voluntary Services, one in TLC College in Wolverhampton got it. I did all the work for them, the paperwork.
So in the community, if anyone know of somebody who's deserving of an award, please get in touch with Dr. Hussain.
Although today I'm not officially.
Of course. Before we end our show, I would like to talk about BEONTV a little bit, because BEONTV is a community channel. It's grown, developed from grassroots community people who are passionate about connecting the community to the wider society. So BEONTV has been working tremendously hard over the last 2 years, and will continue to serve the community. And if you haven't subscribed to BEONTV Facebook, please go to search for BEONTV on Facebook, and you will be able to subscribe. The website for BEONTV is beontvuk.com, so please go there, and you can watch some of the previous programs that the BEONTV has delivered for our community. Before we finish, I just want a few words from Syeda, as well as Maya and Dr. Hussain. Just a couple of...
It's really pleasing to be here today, and we are talking about the monarchy and the royal and that. And I think, you know, the communities out there should be celebrating what we have in it's successful. Yes, we've lost our queen. It was sad, but yes, the king goes on, the monarch goes on, and we're here to stay. And I think we should be proud of what we have, you know. And I think we should be celebrating the success stories.
Thank you, Syeda. Maya?
Yeah, I agree with Syeda, and I can't wait for the coronation, because then I can really show how I'm going to celebrate.
Stand in the queue.
I'll stand in. There won't be a queue this time, but you know, I'll have my office decorated. I'll have my street decorated. You know, we'll celebrate, and I think we should be proud, really proud of that we are. We live in England, and we are British. We are British Bangladeshi, and just be thankful that we are here, and thank you for inviting me here today.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
BEONTV, and thank you very much for allowing us to express how we feel about the monarch. And
brilliant. So we can go on and on about
actually we can go on and on.
Dr. Hussain?
I would like to thank you and BEONTV to invite us here, one thing. And the celebration should go on. We should be united. But one thing I would like to add is that what I see in the community, our people, they are not getting better. We need to improve the quality of life of our children, youngsters. There are lots of fights. The other day I had problems in Smethwick, and we need to improve our children's life at home. Whatever we teach at home, we think we have done enough, but when they go out, we don't know what they do. So in order to have a good cohesion in the community, we need to look after our children at home.
Brilliant.
I know we do that, but still, you know, it's beyond our control.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much for having us
here. Thank you, Dr. Hussain. Well, audience at home, thank you so much for joining us today, and people from around the world. I know people in Bangladesh, they're watching, and so I think it's over 12 midnight, I think, in Bangladesh. So everyone who's watching in Bangladesh, thank you very much for joining us. We had a very wonderful discussion about our late Queen and the King and the royal family. We all recognize that the Queen's legacy and example lives on, and we send our best wishes to His Majesty the King in sustaining the British monarchy as well as the Commonwealth during his reign. So thank you once again for joining us, and we hope to see you soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
BEONTVuk, for the community, by the community. www.beontvuk.com.
British Bangladeshi Young Talent Awards 2022. Organised by the Z Foundation and British Bangladeshi Trust at UK. Sunday the 9th of October 2022 at 6 p.m. The Royal Suite, 271 Birchfield Road, Birmingham, B23DD. Live entertainment from various artists. Book your tickets now. For more information, contact 07859 712 599.